This episode of Well Met is brought to you in partnership with Legion by Lenovo and Intel. Find out more about Legion by Lenovo on Facebook and Twitter at Legion by Lenovo.
You're listening to Well Met, a Hearthstone podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com.
Well met.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 96 of Well Met. We are a Hearthstone podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com. Today is February 6th, 2017. From Denver, Colorado. I'm John Horstman, and I'm a nervous wreck. With me, of course, is the crew. First, we're going to hop to the Northeast, to the recently championed Patriots land.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Onog champion. I was like,
damn,
already?
No.
Already?
No, not yet. It's Ray C. Hey, Ray, welcome to the show, man.
What's up? Yeah, that was actually an insane night last night, to be honest. But
I bet.
Now we're talking about esports.
Esports, real sports. It's not real sports, it's esports. We're real sports. All right, we're going to skip right over Tannen. Hey, Tannen. And we're going to go to, just kidding, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's apparently he's going to always be instigating something with me from now on the show. It's none other than Tannen Grace. Hey, Tannen.
How's it going, John? Just so you know, no easy days. I'm going to be on you all the time.
Okay. All right. We're going to leave that one there because... could have gone a lot of places with that one. We're going to go to Kansas City. We're going to go to Kansas City to the not Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chief fan, JR.
Never,
hey, JR.
Hashtag never Super Bowl ever.
Yeah.
We've even got one, JR.
I know, but to be fair, if the Chiefs ever went to a Super Bowl, they would have lost like the Falcons lost. Yeah. So I'm glad the Falcons did it first.
I saw your tweets during the game. Like, when did the Chiefs show up to this game?
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, man, it's like today has been rough. Like going to work, getting off work, and then doing this podcast. And podcast is fun. It's all the work. They need to make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday.
Agreed.
They're actually working on that. Like, I think that's actually a thing that is being petitioned.
Yeah, needs to happen. That's all.
Everything is always a thing being petitioned these days.
That's true.
It's I think what I saw there was something about a petition to stop petitions on change.org the other day or something stupid like that I'm like, and we have gone full circle to everything this has been about. Anyways, no more football talk, no more petition talk. We know you guys do like to come to this show to talk about petitions, but not this week. We're going to cut it off, and we're going to talk some Hearthstone. But before we do, let's talk about our weeks in Hearthstone. Ray, as our guest, you're going to go first. What have you been up to in Hearthstone this past week besides, winning and winning and winning?
Well, I kind of crashed a little bit, took a little bit of a break after PAX, just kind of chilled for a few days. I'm only rank 5, rank 4 right now. So
scrub.
I've been
Cannon, that was rude.
I'm sorry. Ooh. I couldn't help it.
Dang, dude. Already we're starting.
Yeah.
But I've just been playing good decks when I play. I've just been playing a lot of Rogue and Arena a lot because I enjoy those. I haven't really touched Shaman or Pirate Warrior or anything like that this month yet because I'm not really ready to torture myself yet, Not that I'm not quite a masochist yet.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that's good. Only rank 4 or 5. Not bad. Sitting over at rank of 15 over here. JR, what have you been up to this week, man?
I mean, I'm, doing a little bit better than Ray. I'm sitting at rank 15, which is clearly better than rank 4,
It's
right?
the kind of dedication we like to see on this show,
Like,
by the way.
Yeah. Is that in golf? I don't remember.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't work there either.
It's
I don't
the
know my
opposite of
sports.
golf.
Opposite of golf. I've scored more points. 15 over 4, right? That's yeah. Anyway,
hey, Tannen, how's your? Yeah,
I tried to make a joke there and didn't work. But anyway, no, Miracle Rogue again this week. Just having a lot of fun playing that deck right now.
Good.
Like I just can't like the aggro like Shaman package or Pirate Warrior or any of the pirate packages right now. I mean they're fine, but they're just not fun to play.
Are you running Miracle Rogue without the pirate package?
No, I am running with the pirate package.
Okay.
So that is still in it. So, but it's not like just complete like aggro, So
right.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's just a fun deck. If I win or lose, like I don't get like super tilted if I'm playing anything else.
Sure.
Miracle Rogue for some reason I just feel very just like in the zone and just zen, right? Like I'm just like. Don't care. Like, win, lose, okay, whatever. I got bad draws or I didn't, or they got a really good draw. Who cares? For some reason, like Miracle Rogue for me is just like where Hearthstone needs to be. Like, I don't care one way or the other.
Huh.
So, I don't know why.
Interesting.
It's just that way for me.
JR has a good week in Hearthstone, and now that's just what he wants Hearthstone to be. I love it. No bias. No bias here.
It's like playing solitaire, just on my own.
Actually, I think Hearthstone could learn a thing or two from winning a game of solitaire, because that is the most epic feeling in the world when all the cards go. It's my favorite part.
That would be awesome. Just see a bunch of like patches and small time Buccaneers like falling from the sky.
Just no.
After you win.
I can already see people. You have to do that when you lose, and we can get all the awesome YouTube videos of people throwing their monitors, their tablets, their smartphones all out the window.
Or like whatever creature or spell kills you is a spell that just floods the screen.
Only when it's top decked. When it's top decked.
Just the rub-ins.
Oh my God. Tannen, what's up, man? What have you been up to this week in Hearthstone?
Well, I'm going to go first non-Hearthstone related. Had a little bit of a Magic tournament this weekend that I actually won, shameless plug. So I put a little bit of time and effort into that, so it's nice to see the results actually mirror that. And that qualifies me for a bigger tournament. It's kind of like the way you see it in Hearthstone, like you gotta win a bunch of tournaments to get to the World Championships, and that's how it works in Magic as well. Other than that, I've made a small return to streaming. It's more like, when I'm bored at home playing Hearthstone, why am I not streaming and just sharing it with people and having fun that way? So I've been doing that a little bit lately. I've been playing mostly off-meta decks, like non-patches, non-Kazakus decks. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, actually. Anyone who's coming to my streams has seen I've been having a lot of fun. I've been really trying to make Hunter a thing again, but like it's so difficult. Like I'm trying to make Hunter great again, and I'm trying out all kinds of stuff, and I have like the best draw my deck can get, and I get my opponents like 14 and then die. It's great.
Yeah, it's. I was watching Colento today running a Murloc. It was a Murloc Beast. What's the other thing? Like Curator draws. He draws a Murloc, a Beast, Dragon, Hunter. Trying to make that work today, and he wasn't doing bad. He wasn't doing good. So. He wasn't doing good, and he's Colento. So, there's always that going for him.
There's no hope for Hunter. I'm just gonna say that flat out now. In this meta game, there's no place for Hunter, and it feels real bad.
It feels really bad, but I mean, we're gonna get to it a little later in the show. But I'm hopeful for this new expansion. Just give us a 2-mana weapon in Hunter.
In my opinion,
Glaive Zuka 2.0.
Hunter can stay where it's at. Like, we have been oppressed by Hunter long enough that it can just stay at the bottom for a while, and I'm fine.
Fair enough.
That's a negative. Judges ruling.
It's been a solid couple years since the Undertaker
Yeah.
overtaking.
Joe still got
still
like PTSD
burns,
of
it's
it.
still
Yeah.
pain.
Well,
Face
there was
still-
definitely time too, and like mid-range Hunter was pretty oppressively good. But you're right. What I thought you were going to say was Hunter is fine. It's the classes above Hunter that need to come down. Like if you take Shaman, like if you find a way to take Shaman out and find a way to take Warrior out, how bad is Hunter at that point? If you get rid of those really oppressive cards like the Pirate package, and not that it can't run the Pirate package, but if you take those things out, how bad would Hunter be? And I think that's a really interesting question. Is Hunter actually okay? The other top 2 or 3 classes just too good right now, or is Hunter just bad and need a buff? Ray, are you on team buff Hunter?
I mean, I can agree with the other classes getting taken down a notch as opposed to Hunter going up, because Hunters, their cards are not bad. Like the Hunter cards, they feel like they're not the worst. Like the buff mechanics are really cool. Like Dispatch Kodo is really cool. Rat Pack, like these cards when they were revealed, they seemed like they would actually be really good. Like in a vacuum, I think they are really good. They're just bad because the metagame is so not ready for it, I guess. And in the sense of like it's just too aggressive. Like the meta right now is so aggressive that Flame Imp, probably the most iconic aggro card, is just not good.
All right.
Like, or at least I
can't
see it as.
afford-
Like I mean, I feel like Zoo was probably like one of the most iconic aggro decks in Hearthstone for a while.
Sure.
And the meta is so like the power levels increase so much that like a 1 mana 3/2 is just not good enough, which is really weird to me.
Yeah. Because now you get a 1 mana 2/3 that changes, morphs itself. Well, 2/3 morphs itself into a 5/3, 4/3. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Buccaneer's basically a Flame Imp that doesn't deal damage to you and summons a 1/1 with charge, so
Mhm.
and
Right.
summons a weapon somehow too. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but usually
Yeah.
it does.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure people would love to hear us talk about how bad Hunter is for a while and how good Patches and Small Time Buccaneer are. But we won't do that to you all. Instead, what we will do is jump into the news.
This week in Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on this week, but before we do jump in, we do want to thank our friends of the show, Albert T, TheRealBen, and Correl. Thank you so much for your support of the show. Helps us bring on great guests and helps us make our shows look awesome and continue to invest the time it takes to put on, hopefully, what you feel is an awesome podcast. So patreon.com/wellmetpodcast is where you can go to get involved. And I think Tannen said that any new patrons this month, he's going to show match you a little bit, play a little one-on-one. And then
Yep, any match of your choosing. I'll even do it on stream if you want, so everyone can watch me lose.
JR and I will cast it. That's what we'll do.
Oh, yeah.
We'll cast it. It'll be great.
That way I can watch it and critique you two guys on that as well, right?
Great.
Is that extended to any existing patrons?
It has been extended to extended patrons. I have been contacted by, I think Drunken Monk is one of the ones that's contacted me about it. And I told him, anytime, man, let me know when and where I'll show up.
Yeah.
I'll have my Patches and Kazakus ready.
If you want to formally get it on the books and you wouldn't be opposed to hanging out with us on a Sunday night after the show, we could probably get that then, have a little pre-show show match going on. Just email me, wellmet@blizzpro.com. We'll find a way to get that on the books. By the way, if I ever do that, I'm going to have Ray in the Skype call with me so that I don't lose. Yeah. All right. We've got a lot of news going on this week. So, we normally try to stay away from leaks on the show, but sometimes they're just too good to pass up. And this is one of those times. So, here's, I guess, how the story goes, kind of. There's a voice actor. I forget the name. Actor.
Lonnie Manila.
Lonnie Minella, who has worked on Blizzard titles in the past, and on her resume was found on her personal website that she had worked on Hearthstone, Lost Secrets of Ungoro. So, whoops. JR, what? What is this? So what's going on here?
Yeah, so I mean, she had worked on the original Hearthstone. Like, you might have recognized her as like I think she voiced Colt Master, one of the Mario Armorsmith. I think that's the name of the card, and a few others. She also did some characters on Old Gods as well, and she's also done WoW stuff as well, like with Legion and things like that. So she is a voice actress that Blizzard uses quite a bit of, and this was on her personal website. And as of now, this has been removed from because it was a big whoops. But someone on Reddit found it and posted it, and sure enough, it looks like she's going to be voicing a handful of cards. Galaka Crawler.
That's perfect pronunciation. Galaka.
I have no idea if
I have no idea, but if it's not that, we're still calling it that on this show.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good to me. Pterodactyl, Anklesaur, Hydra, and Brontosaurus. So we have a very dinosaur-themed expansion coming up.
Can't wait.
I will say one. This isn't confirmed, but this is a pretty good leak, and it would be. I mean, it's pretty legit, to be honest. And I don't usually say that about leaks. But also, we don't know if it's going to be the next expansion, but it likely will be, since they're already doing voice acting and things like that. And I will say that I think it's going to be an expansion instead of an adventure mode, even though they did an expansion, last. Just for the fact that I believe Blizzard's going into the adventure mode expansion throughout the year. Like, they'll start the year with an expansion, middle with an adventure mode expansion at the end.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Tannen, Ray, anything to add to these leaks here? Any hopes and dreams for themes or cards that we might see come out besides a turn 1/1/1 destroy a pirate, destroy all enemy pirates?
That would be sweet. I'm pretty excited for a dinosaur themed set. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I had a bunch of dinosaur books and movies. I remember seeing Jurassic Park at the theater like 17 times and stuff. Still love the card King Crush. I still got my little fancy. I wanted to be a dinosaur when I grew up, kind of thing. So, yeah, man, I'm super excited about a dinosaur themed set.
Nice.
I usually don't go into stuff like that either. I'm usually not one of those guys that's like, oh, I love the lore of this set, or like, I'm like, yeah, the artwork's great, but are the cards good? Like, can I kill my opponent faster, or like, can I keep them from killing me faster? Like, that's what I usually care about. So for me to get excited about something like that, kind of brings out the kid in me. I love it.
Nice.
Yep. I am kind of the opposite in the sense that like I don't. No, I'm not hating. I know. I don't know any of the WoW lore for the most part, so like I'm not really connected to it, and like the same level as a lot of people who play the game are. Like, I don't really know any of the worlds or anything like that. So for me, I'm just hoping that they give like cool druid cards maybe and cool hunter cards. Those feel like the beast/dinosaur-ish class. Like that's not really like a thing, but like it kind of feels like a thing.
Yeah.
Dinosaur-ish classes. Yeah. Like hunter and druid. Like I would love to see beast druid actually be like a good thing, because it was really hyped up. It
felt so close.
Yeah, it felt really close, and it was like semi like good at a time. But with this expansion, it feels like we're gonna get more like dinosaur beast card things. There we go.
Right. I mean, even now though.
You're telling me you don't expect to see like priest dinosaur cards? I mean, come on.
I mean, museum curator, you have to, right?
Maybe, man.
Yeah,
we'll go back into the museum.
Right. Yeah, I was saying before the show that Reno has a cousin named Dino Jackson, He's a I was gonna say an architect, but that's not it. It's the
He might be an architect.
he might be an architect, but that is
The word
not
you're looking
the
for is archaeologist.
archaeologist.
Is that actually a real thing? Like, are you memeing? Like, you just
No,
made a
this
really
is the
bad
lore.
joke, right? So Reno actually has a cousin named Dino
Well,
in World of Warcraft.
He
Reno
really does.
and Dino in the World of Warcraft. Yes.
I'm pretty sure me and I was about to call you Terrence for a second.
It's
Sorry,
fine.
I've been hanging out
You
with
make
Terrence a
fun
lot.
of me for
Tan-
not being able to get archaeologist. Jeez.
I'm pretty sure me and Tannen just thought you were making a really bad joke.
I did.
No.
I didn't know this was like actually like as you were saying this, I was like slightly in the back of my mind. I was like, wait, what if this is a real thing? Like,
It is.
and now that it is,
now.
my mind's a little blown right now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not
So
a
you
real
told me there
thing.
really is a
It's
character
not a real
named
thing,
Jocelyn.
guys.
Oh, All right, tell me when the show's over. I'll be back.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
easy with you. So easy.
I
I
was
had to
just
put
over
up
here
with
being
your
quiet 'cause I
magic
knew.
stuff for
Okay,
so
you can't
long.
tell me right now. You can't tell me right now that they made something called Dino the archaeologist or whatever that was related to Reno that you wouldn't. That sounds legit. That sounds like a thing was like Blizzard would do in these games. I mean, you
That's the
have
best. The
like,
best
terrorists and
lies are feasible ones, right?
Now
Like that's the
just
best
sad.
ones.
I'll
right?
just never trust another thing you ever say, John.
I mean,
Okay, that's fine with me. Didn't bring you on the show to trust me, that's for sure. So, anyways, Dino Jackson is
doesn't
Get-
exist.
gonna be the cousin.
Gonna
You know,
exist.
heal your opponent. Not
we
not
just
heal
stop
your
talking about-
opponent if they don't have any duplicates in their deck. That would
I'm done
It
be
would be like they don't have a dinosaur or something.
yeah.
You know,
Probably.
I'm done with Dino. I'm over it.
All right, we're
Yeah.
over Dino. Anyways, Ungoro Crater stuff.
I'm
Lost
excited.
Secrets of Ungoro, hopefully coming to a Hearthstone game client near you very soon. But
One
we'll
of my
have to
favorite zones. So I'm
What-
excited.
yeah. We also got a pretty big post from Ben Brode on the meta balance and everyone's favorite button pushing Shaman Thrall. So, JR, what's going on here with this mega post from Mr. Ben Brode?
I mean, mostly he's talking about the meta and balance, kind of explaining the meta in terms of, and everybody that's listening to the show and has listened to us for a while would understand that, and balance and things like that. And it kind of goes over some numbers that sort of match up with what we've seen with the Vicious Syndicate Reaper data report. But basically he's saying like there are some like they're seeing like a 53% win percentage with aggro shaman right now. But it loses to control, he says. He's got some numbers that back it up. Like it's only like 35% wins against control theme that are made to match up directly against it, which I'm not sure if that number, I mean, he has the numbers, I don't, so I'm going to go with him. But the other thing they kind of talked about though was the patches, not the patches, but the pirates, which same thing. The
We know what
pirate
you mean,
package
yeah.
is being seen by like 50% of decks at this point, right? And to me, that seems like a really high number, but they didn't seem to really like be, I don't know, like surprised by that or anything. But the biggest takeaway that I saw was they're not really going to do any kind of balance changes. If they do any balance changes, they're not even saying if they're going to until at least the end of the month, because that's when their patch releases are.
Mm.
And so if we hear anything, it may not be until the end of February, even if we hear anything,
Okay,
which
got
to
it.
me that feels bad. But
Ray, I
is
have a
what it is.
question. I have a question for you. So Ben Brode says 53% win rates for. He said that for Shaman with Pirates. Is that what he said? What it was, Jr.
aggro shaman, yeah.
Aggro Shaman. So 53% win rate. If you're running so many of this deck, isn't that kind of a skewed number? Like eventually, let's say it was 100% aggro shaman, your win rate would be 50%, right? So is 53%, in your opinion, as one of the best Hearthstone players in the world right now? You're welcome. But I believe it. Is that a misleading statistic that was used, or do you think it's still relevant?
53% is actually pretty high over all of the Shaman games played. I believe they said they didn't count mirror matches as well. So like they didn't factor in mirrors.
Okay.
But 53% over, like, even if they only took rank 5 to legend, like that's actually pretty high win rate considering like you can't really count the people that are in like the top like 0.001% of legend really. It's kind of hard because they're all going to have inflated win rates. So to me 53% is like, it's not like insane, but it's probably correct. Like I'm not going to argue with that statistic. Like it
cool.
seems right. It's the thing that doesn't seem right though, and where they kind of mislead you, is when they say things like Dragon Priest is favored against Shaman or something like that. I believe they said that, right? They mentioned like Dragon Priest being a counter to Shaman, which was a huge meme in like the pro community because that matchup was actually really Shaman favored. It's just only if you know how to play the matchup right, which like all good players do, but like I don't know, it was kind of like a huge meme for a bit where they were just saying like certain matchups were not Shaman favored when they were just like extremely Shaman favored.
I think it was Control Warrior they used as an example.
No, they used Control Warrior, but they also said Dragon Priest.
Okay. I guess
I'm gonna find it.
Like something as simple as keeping Flame Tongue in your opener against Dragon Priest increases your win rate so much. Like the only control deck that actually does well against Shaman is probably the Control Warrior that's specifically designed to beat Shaman, which is actually just not that great against anything else. Like you're gonna lose to Reno, you're gonna lose to like it's just like Fibonacci basically just queued into Shaman and he won. Like they used him as an example, which was fine because he did play the Control Warrior deck. He queued into the Shamans, he high rolled, he got to top 2 legend, which was really good. Like some people are just able to find those last day decks that are just super good because that's just like what they're good at. And he's an insanely good Control Warrior player. So he was able to do it. But that doesn't mean everybody else is able to do that. And that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be queuing into aggro Shaman at other ranks. Like you can't just do that. Like it has to be a very specific scenario where you like, I don't know, they just use that as the example and it was so specific that it was just like, you shouldn't just take last day stats because Fibonacci, I mean, he's on my friends list. He was in the dumpster for like the majority of the season up until the end. Like, it was like the stars have to align pretty much, and they always do on the last day because everybody's just trying to win. And Shaman was the best deck, so everybody's playing Shaman. He makes the deck to counter Shaman, like, and then he reaps the rewards. So,
and I guess I mean, I don't want to oversimplify anything, but for people who are maybe a little bit newer to kind of the meta talk or just maybe newer to Hearthstone in general, the big thing with decks that do beat Shaman is that they just don't do well enough against the rest of the field, where Shaman has pretty decent win rates against anything, and almost any matchup is one you can at least, steal a couple wins from too. So even when you're not favored, like a Reno Mage, I would you say you're not favored against Reno Mage, Ray?
As Shaman, I think it's
pretty close.
Pretty 50-50. It's pretty 50-50. I don't know. People think that it's like really unfavored for some reason, but
I think it's really. I guess I've been hearing from people saying it's probably like 55. It's like there's an edge to Reno Mage, but anyways, the point is, it's Shaman does so well against the field, and any decks that do well against Shaman don't do well against the rest of the field, and that's where we start to get this kind of broken, redundant meta. So, Tannen, do you think that we're gonna see some changes here by the end of February? Do you think that after the winter playoffs happen, we're going to see some changes to Shaman or small-time Buccaneer in patches?
No, I don't think we will, but I hope we do. So if you read into what they're saying and you believe that they believe what they're saying, like they believe their own hype and believe all the stuff they're saying, that they think these decks are actually counters to it, then they don't have a reason to change anything, right? They think this is a okay and fair meta, and so why would they change anything? Personally, I was hoping they were going to do like they did with Warsaw Commander and change everything like the week before the playoffs and just be like, hey pros, figure it out, you know? And who knows, maybe like even if they changed, maybe even if they changed patches, like it still would have been the best deck, just like Patron Warrior was, 6-0 found it was still the best deck even like after it got nerfed. But I don't think we're going to see a change. Like if I had to put money on it, I would favorite it like 57% no, but God, I hope so. I'm getting so sick of it.
57, that's a really high percentage of yes.
What
well, like, you're still
that?
favored. You're still 43% to say yes. You're 57
in a few days, Tannen.
Yeah.
57% yes.
It's
All
like
right.
7.5%.
How much of that is undecided?
Oh my God.
There's no undecided. There's none. It's yes or no. It's a binary answer. Right. Hold on. If the deck had a 57% win percentage in Hearthstone, it'd be the best deck, right? 60% was the highest they said they've ever gotten. 57 is a very high number. 7% is a lot. Don't even start.
We're not talking about win rates, though. We're talking about the likelihood of.
It's just an arbitrary number I pulled out of the air. Come on.
There it is. Okay, arbitrary number for yes.
I didn't crunch the numbers and come up with 57%, guys. Come on.
I don't even know how you approach those numbers.
I'm not a number scientist, all right?
Okay.
Come on,
I get it. It's the Vegas odds man in you. Everything is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everything. 57 is actually, it's a relevant statistic for you. I get it. So Tannen says yes. Long story short. Okay.
I'm going to put 99% chance that they do not do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
99. 1% chance that they do.
So Ray says no.
I'm just here to trigger Ray. And I've gotten it twice already this show so far. So.
Fair enough. Okay, so Tannen yes, Ray no, JR.
I said no.
I mean,
you said 57% yes.
No, 57% it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Okay, so Tannen no, Ray no, JR.
They say a 60% win rate with Undertaker Hunter was the highest they've ever been, and they are saying that Shaman was 17%. However, they did say that 50% of all decks at rank 5 or above was playing Small Time Buccaneer. To me, that's a very high number. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Small Time Buccaneer will at least see some kind of nerf.
Okay. JR, I'm with you on that.
I think that's all they will do.
I'm with you on that one.
That's all they will do.
I think the patches design is great. I think it's great. I think it's the Small Time Buccaneer. Yes, decks have high win rate, but I think Shaman would be in a good place if it just didn't have 2 1-mana and 2-mana weapons combined with multiple 1-mana pirates combined with a great Jade package combined with solid core spells combined with some pretty meaty late game as well, where if you guys remember, I'm thinking back to about a year ago where everyone would talk about Fire Elemental as like one of the best six drops, right? It's a 6. I haven't seen it so long. One of the best 6 drops in the game. And, now it's like we don't really see that hardly ever anymore. You saw it in some control Shaman builds, and so it's still got such a good core underneath what we're seeing that it just needs to see that slow up. So I'm with you, JR. I think we're gonna see it. I think we're gonna see changes.
Yeah, I think for me it's not so much like the meta itself doesn't feel like it's really out of whack. Like I really feel good about the decks that are currently in the meta. It's the fact that when you queue up against pirate after pirate after pirate, I think is the problem. That you're seeing that so much that it feels bad. It's not so much that the different style of decks that you're playing are bad. I think it's just the fact that this one card is seen everywhere. And I think that's what they're going to look at when they decide, okay, this is time to maybe nerf this one card.
Sure. And
it was a card that they did last minute. And even Mike Donay said that's a sign of a card that might be a problem.
Right. we're gonna we're gonna put the kibosh on this one as well. Move on a little bit because we got a lot to talk about still before we get out of here. I know Tannen and Ray, you were both talking about how you're not WoW players and you're not into the lore. Well, now you might have a reason to, because you can now use WoW tokens, which you can purchase with WoW Gold, or basically you can use WoW Gold to add money to your Battle.net balance. So it's $15, right? For a token you get? Yeah, so it's
you spend 20, but you get, when you spend the gold, you get 15 in Battle.net points.
Right. Yeah. So you can go ahead and pad that up. You can use that to purchase in any Blizzard game. So loot boxes in Overwatch, packs and adventures in Hearthstone, StarCraft ships. Just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
StarCraft does have announcer packs.
It does. Yeah.
I think you just triggered all 5 people that play the game.
I know.
Ooh,
and they're all in Korea right now anyway, so they won't get it for another like 2 days. So yeah, they are. That's
guys,
StarCraft is.
Guys, you can find the email. You can find John's email right below the show.
That's racist.
On the website.
Okay, we're moving on from this because just stating a fact on the show is chastised when Tannen can just say 57% yes. So
hey,
whatever.
Don't hate it.
All right. So anyways, now Ray and Tannen, you guys can go ahead and pick up WoW, pay for your Hearthstone collection while you learn about the Ungoro crater. So cool.
See, hold on. There's just one problem I have with playing games like WoW. They're great games, don't get me wrong. I like to leave my house at some point in time during the month. And if I have the game like WoW and play it, I just will never leave my house.
They have a companion.
That's what virtual reality's for. That's what virtual reality's for. Yeah.
Well, there we go. JR fixed it. All right, I'm downloading WoW right now. If my quality goes down, it's probably because I'm downloading it. So
yeah,
I'm not downloading WoW ever. I've made a vow to myself to never play World of Warcraft or anything like it. I've seen too many of my friends' lives ruined.
Same.
For the better. World of Warcraft. Just kidding.
My girlfriend would kill me. Like literally kill me.
Yeah,
can't let myself do it.
Fair enough. Well, anyways, that's it. So you guys can now do that. Is that live? That's live now, right, JR?
Yep, went live today.
Cool. All right, let's jump into esports.
The Pro Corner.
Yeah. So this week in esports, we've got quite a few things going up. First and foremost, we do have the winter playoffs coming up over the next 3 weekends. EU is this weekend on the 11th and 12th. The Americas is the weekend following, 18th and 19th, and APAC is the 24th and 25th. Twitch.tv/play Hearthstone. I don't know the exact times. They're different, but if you go to playhearthstone.com, you'll find it there. And just turn on notifications whenever Play Hearthstone goes live on Twitch, and you'll know there. So that's going on. Ray, are you going to be present? I believe you are, correct?
Yep. Barring any plane crashes, I will be there.
Nice. Where is it? Where are you playing?
Fairfax, Virginia.
Okay. Is that like a location that they have, or?
Yeah. It's called the Cave.
Okay.
In Fairfax, Virginia. And then, unless I randomly decide to go to Esports Arena all the way in California, I'll be at Fairfax.
I'm a fan of that place, by the way.
The Cave?
I've never been to the Cave, the Esports Arena, and I think it's they say LA. It's in Anaheim technically, but
if I
remember correctly.
Yeah.
I've been a few times. When I was living in Vegas, I would jump over there every now and then.
Nice.
Yeah, they're both really nice places. I think those two locations are by far the best because, awkwardly enough, every single prelim so far, there's been disconnect issues, and those are the only two locations with actual stable internet, which is That's just the weirdest thing
they're
to
like
me. But
land centers, right? So they're designed.
I mean, not even. No. Some of them are in dinky card shops.
No. I'm
Honestly.
saying the cave and
Oh, yeah,
esports
yeah.
arena are like land centers, where other ones are like, this is my town civic arena. We play volleyball here on the weekends, and now we play Hearthstone.
Not even that. It's like, this is the local card shop, and we can only do like 5 concurrent connections at a time on our Wi-Fi. It's
like
weird.
everybody unattach the Wi-Fi from your phones. Ray's got to play his match.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've actually been at Hearthstone fireside gatherings that were like that.
Yeah, it's a lot better investment to go to one of those 2 locations to guarantee yourself that you will not have anything funky happen to you. And
so is that what you're choosing to go there? You're just like, that's the one that
it's not the closest location for me. Yeah,
okay.
I'm choosing to go to one of those 2
Got
because
it.
I have not made day 3 at prelims due to a disconnect, and I will never get over that.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clear lethal on board, but we were playing the Control Warrior Mirror. He had no cards in deck. He had no Golden Monkey because I pulled it out with like a Death Lord or whatever it was. And like, I was so far ahead, it was unbelievable, but I disconnected because the Wi-Fi turned off in the location that we were at. And I had no clear lethal on board, so that was a regame, and that was like the last game, and I was just beside myself.
Yeah.
That, so it's just not worth it to ever risk it. Like,
I don't see you tilt often, but I have to imagine that would be pretty tilting. So
I mean, yeah, and you're also in the awkward position where like you ask your opponent, like you're just like, hey man, there was no way you were gonna ever win this game. Like, can you just like give me the win? And like, that like they won't, because it's like the competitive setting. Like you can't get mad at them for not doing it, obviously. Right. And
well, the question is, if you were in their position, would you have done it?
No, and, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I'm a savage in tournaments. Like, I'm ruthless. I do not care.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll do anything for W. Like, I don't really care. Like, that's why I don't actually take anything personally. As long as they're not cheating or anything, like, I'm not going to take it personally. Like, I would do the same thing, but like, I have to ask,
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Find some sorry sap who's going to give you the win because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Oh, those people. So anyways, that's going on. Ray, good luck.
Absolutely. Good luck.
Yeah. Represent.
Thank you.
Represent. Faux show. But you also had a pretty big weekend last weekend at PAX South. And you finished second place there, dropping the grand finals to Lead Paint, defeating your friend Terrence M in the semifinals. What was that experience like? So what was it like hanging out at PAX and playing in the last major of the winter season?
It was a lot of fun, honestly. There were a lot of people that were very casual, as there always is at PAX events like that. So the first couple rounds were pretty free for the most part.
Sure.
Top 16 is when it got hard. And I played Just Saying, and then I played Amnesia, and then Terrence, and all those matches were actually insanely close. All of them went to game 5. All of them came down to like either Rogue or Warlock Mirror or something like that. And it was just intense. It was like the most insane sets of Hearthstone I've played in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just crazy. And I got pretty lucky to be able to win those, and I think I played fairly decently, so I'm pretty proud of myself for it, honestly.
Yeah, there were some really key turns. I'm thinking of especially watching you play Rogue on stream. There were some really scary turns. I was watching you on the big screen in the living room, and I can't remember what it was, but it's one of those turns where it's like, I've got some decent cheap spells. I can go all in on this. Like, do I do it? What are the chances? And you probably have the math all figured out in your head, but from a spectator perspective, you can see both sides. You're like, oh my God, is he going to do it? Can he deal with it? It was really epic. It was a lot of fun to see. And you're right. We were talking about last week on the Esports Fast Break, we were talking about how 11 out of the top 16 players were all signed to some sort of organization, or representing some sort of organization, which was, kind of really interesting to see. But we also talked about is that's you can't blame RNG too much when you have that many big players there. Your lineup, though, I don't think there was any huge surprises that I can remember. But what was your thought process when you were picking your lineup?
Basically, I just wanted to soft target Reno decks. Like, I played a very, very greedy rogue deck. Like, I started cutting Fan of Knives and stuff like that. I banned Shaman every single time. My Shaman was actually banned 100% of the time. I played 0 games with Shaman throughout the whole tournament. Real balanced deck. 0% win rate. So, I mean, it's probably not that good.
57%. Come on.
I mean, it had a 0% win rate for almost everybody in the tournament. Like,
not that broken then.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I would actually call that a 4.
Nobody won the tournament.
Yeah,
with
Shaman couldn't even win a game.
Shaman didn't even win a single game in the grand finals. Yeah,
I don't think he won a game all day, honestly, all tournament. Yeah. But basically my strategy is to ban Shaman, and then I accept a loss to Pirate Warrior at some point, and just try to beat the Rogue Mirror and the Reno decks. Like, I played Shaku in my Rogue, which is arguably worse than Beneath the Grounds, which I did play in the open tournament that I won like a week before. And I actually found that it was really good in the Rogue Mirror because sometimes they just go off with Auctioneer, which means they're probably drawing some of the Beneath the Grounds. And then it's obviously good against Reno if you draw it. So I don't know. I don't know if I made the correct choice on that one specific card slot. It was either going to be Shaku or Beneath the Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Shaku because I just have a lot of fun with that card. And it's like one of those things where you're really biased towards because you play it and you see it do like this incredible thing. Like, you get this crazy good card and you remember those times. So it just felt really good. In reality, looking at my stats afterwards and playing with it more afterwards, it's probably worse than Beneath the Grounds in that slot. But it ended up working out for me, and it was good against control. So It's kind of like a Manatide. It's like a pseudo Manatide in a sense against decks like Reno. And in the Rogue Mirror, it's like sometimes awkward to deal with if they don't have backstab. You play it on turn 3, so you kind of curve out with it. But definitely better than playing something like Fan of Knives if you're already giving up aggro decks. And most of the whole meta was exactly what you would expect it to be. It was all like 3 patches, 1 Kazakus, so there was nothing surprising going on there. There's no like funny business. If anything, people were playing like more double Reno decks as opposed to like it was more like 2 and 2,
right?
As opposed to like 3 and 1. So
So what were you putting in instead of Fan of Knives? Just curious.
Like more like greedy cards, like Beneath the Grounds, Shaku, stuff like that. And I like play double questing too, obviously.
Right. So I
like that deck a lot, actually.
Yeah. I know you're not going to give away your game plan for prelims because you're smart. That's why you're going to, or playoffs. But how are you feeling going into the winter playoffs? Are you feeling pretty confident? Like, have you got yourself gassed up, or are you feeling kind of nervous?
I don't know. I'm not really feeling much of anything. I'm just kind of like ready.
Rolling with the punches and just
that was one of the things I was like kind of like proud of myself about during PAX and stuff, is that I didn't really ever get nervous when I was on stream. I was able to just be like flat the whole time. Like I didn't really get excited or anything after I would win. Like after beating like a big name or something, like I didn't really get excited. I didn't get anything. I just was like, I just get in this mode where I just don't really feel much of anything, and I just am impartial to like what is actually happening. Like,
do you do anything to get in that mode, or does it just strike you, or have you been doing it for so long that that's just kind of your center now?
I mean, it happens every time. Like, it happened when I played Pokemon too. Like, if you play on stream or something, like I just kind of get really, really focused. And I just don't really pay attention to like any like emotional like emotions, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
Sure. Yeah,
that's just what happens to me.
No, it's cool though.
I don't feel like any stress or any anxiety when I'm playing on stream or playing these games or playing in tournaments. I'm just kind of there and playing,
Right.
like, and just trying to win.
Right. Last thing I want to hit on in esports here, and then we'll go ahead and probably wrap up pretty quick, is Trinity Series. Had a great week in the Trinity Series this last week. We've got a couple of big matches coming up. We've got Luminosity versus G2, which Luminosity barely lost to Complexity 5-6 last week. And we also have Liquid versus Complexity, who Complexity is the only undefeated team so far. And Complexity is who is it? Super JJ. Is that Nyman as well? And
no. Nyman's on BlizzPro.
BlizzPro, that's right. Super JJ,
Mr. Yogurt. Mr. Yogurt.
Yep, Mr. Yogurt. And anyways, so they're doing surprisingly well in the tournament
It's
overall.
Crane. I'm pretty sure
Crane.
it's Crane.
Yeah, you're right. That is right. That is Crane. So
Thought this was your show, John.
It's oh my God. Ray, thanks for coming on the show. I'm so glad I asked you here. It's
Hey Ray, it was nice doing one show with you.
yeah. Which Wi-Fi network are you going to be on next weekend again?
We go to the cave, baby. We are hardwired.
Yeah. You need electricity though, right?
With his wire cutters.
And then just show up, be like, I'm here to trim the hedges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the new gardener here. Anyways.
Like John's gonna show up to my house now.
Yeah, if you
even
even make it to
prelims.
Virginia. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways, we digress. Anyways, first and foremost, Ray, I'm skipping you for this one. Tannen, but in these two series, who are your favorites?
I'm going to go with Luminosity to upset G2 here, because I know G2 is like your favorite team in the world, John, and you're like the biggest fanboy ever. You're the biggest fanboy of G2 ever. It's
Didn't
amazing.
you see my tweet this last week?
It's
I said
cute.
Luminosity is quickly becoming my favorite team in this tournament.
Is it because you get to listen to Chalky talk? Is that
It's
why?
because Chalky and Zalay are freaking hilarious the whole time.
The world is quickly becoming aware of something that I've known for a long time, that Zalay is just a hilarious human being and just a great person who should have a mic in front of him more often. When I first met him, I actually didn't like him at all, and then quickly became very good friends with him after living with him and stuff, and realized how good he is at the game as well. And that whole team is insane. And I like the way they approach it. You know, like they seem to have the best mix of like zeroing on what the best play is, but also having fun while doing it. Like they seem like the most lighthearted while it's going on as well. And I think that's going to show in their performance as well. Like they never get too worried about an outcome of something, and they kind of laugh some stuff off if something doesn't go their way. And then other than that, I'm not really sure about Liquid versus Complexity. It's hard to bet against Complexity. I mean, they've just been crushing everyone, so it's hard not to bet on them.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I like the Luminosity upset for that one. JR, what about you, man? Who do you got your eye on this week?
Let's see. Luminosity had Chalky and Zalay, right? And G2
Frozen.
has...
And Frozen. Yeah.
Remind me again. G2?
G2 is RDU, the Good King Life coach, and the
oh yeah, that's right.
The mother's favorite son in Tice. So yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna pick G2 on that, just because
the names got it.
Yeah, because of the names. So who's on Liquid and who's on Complexity again?
Oh my god! All right, so
no, this is for our
yeah. So
who
Liquid is Show, two other people, Dog, and I don't know. I don't even know the third. And then Complexity, Super JJ, Mr. Yagut, and Crane. So,
I think it's Nyria. It might be Nyria.
Oh yeah, Nyria. Yep, that's perfect. Yeah.
There we go.
I'm gonna go Luminosity. No, wait, G2 and Liquid.
Oh,
This
God.
show tonight, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
John knows that I don't watch a ton of esports, so like who's on what team.
Yeah.
I got to go by the names. And so I'm going to go with Liquid.
We ask JR esports questions because we like to hear him go with his gut and generally be right. He generally has.
No,
you
really.
did pretty good at ATLC. I remember that.
That is true. That's the only thing I ever
Just
did right
saying.
in my life. So,
Ray, what do you think about the whole team league thing in Hearthstone? Are you a fan?
I think it's very. I'm a fan. I think it's very good for the game to have a consistent storyline, and also just be showcased like on a consistent basis. Like more so having the same people is. Like I said, the storyline thing, it like creates a storyline, so like you know the players, and like
right.
Sometimes it creates rivalries and stuff. That's one thing the game is missing. There's no, I don't want to call it drama because it's not really drama.
There needs to be a bad guy.
I mean, it's not
right?
even that. It's like there's just no rivalries. There's no anything. Like teams don't mean anything in Hearthstone until the Trinity series. Like teams meant nothing. It just were sponsors. Like teams didn't even necessarily work together. Honestly,
Right.
for the most part, from what I've seen, like most team players don't even like talk to each other sometimes.
I 100% agree with Ray here, and I definitely agree with him. I would love to see the teams mean more and like create some kind of rivalry. You know, like you have like G2 playing Luminosity, and then all of a sudden a member from another team comes in the back of someone's stream. You see him come out the back of like a steel chair, just hits them, and they rope out on their turn and lose because of it. Is it too much for a wrestling analogy? Come on.
I mean, that would actually be really funny. Like
that would be hilarious.
There's nothing like you see other esports like Smash, and there's like huge rivalries and like very like people are hyped to see these matches. In Hearthstone, it's just like, oh, this match is good because these two players are good, but there's no like, oh my god, like Chalky's gonna play Zalay, and they not necessarily hate each other, but they have a history of
Right.
like
Reynad and Shocky. That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Is Reynad and Shocky.
If we just get those guys to play each other every tournament, please, like that'd be great. You know.
I mean, that's literally the only rivalry was Tempo Storm versus Archon, but that wasn't even like a rivalry in the game that you saw. Like,
right,
that was just like a brand rivalry. Like they didn't really play in tournaments ever or anything like that.
Right. It was a Moz's and the team he made versus Reynad and the team he made, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe we could get some kind of thing that happens where like teams call out another team and they're like, yeah, I think we could beat this team and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is, and like they have to put up like a smaller, like a little bit more of a portion of a prize pool in the other team. They're like, we think we're favored or something, you know, or like they just call them out because they want to play a match against them or something. That would be cool.
Well, so I was actually when you guys kind of brought it up about the rivalry thing. So I thought back to, do you guys remember the Tempo Storm thing that they did at Esports Arena? I think it was one of those
poker
Geico,
thing?
Yeah, the poker thing.
The World Series of Sealed.
But you could place best bets on the matches while the other people were sitting there. So it's like you could, it'd be us four at a table and be like, I'm going to put, $100 on Ray to beat Tannen because Ray's just a way better player and he doesn't get tilted, right? And so they do that, and like you have to be there and listen to that, and it creates that tension. It'd be really cool if they could find a way to insert that into Hearthstone a little bit. I think leagues help a lot with that because there is that aspect of it. But even then, right now, these are all they're not lands, so people aren't crossing paths face to face, and for the most part, like it's I don't know, I don't want to say it's like there's so much out of the player's control because I don't necessarily believe that. But when somebody gets like a key headshot in an Overwatch tournament that turns the tide of the game or the series, or someone really steps up and puts someone on the back, it's very noticeable and creates a great storyline for that. So I'd love to see that more in Hearthstone. overall. Ray, who do you think are going to win in these two matchups?
I mean, I'm personally rooting for Luminosity because I'm friends with all of them, and I know that they're very strong players. I don't really know the G2 players as much since they're European. I don't play on Europe. I don't really interact with them ever, so I know they're good players, obviously, but I'm gonna root for like the homies. Like, you got to root for the homies, you know?
For
like,
sure.
Yeah.
And then, as for the other match, I like Complexity. I'm just a fan of the players on there. I think they're very good. Obviously, I know I don't really know Nyria. I don't really know I know that they're good players, but I don't really know them. Like I don't know Dog. I don't know Nyria. And who's the other one? Show. The Show's the only one I know, and I love Show, but the Complexity people, I just know better. So, like, I'm not going off of anything else, honestly. Just aside from the fact that I'm rooting for the people who I actually like know.
Right. I know Dog and Show, like, you can count on for Team Liquid to play really well. Like, Dog is, widely acclaimed for his technical play. He plays great. In fact, he probably, I would say in the first half of 2016 was like one of the people who was celebrated the most for his technical play and his analysis of the plays, at least in the more public scene. Ray, you obviously have a lot of access to like the behind the scenes, the not tier tier 1 players who you just see on the biggest streams, but also the ladder grinders and players like that. But Dog was widely celebrated from that. But we have actually seen Nyria not really perform very well recently, and I think he's kind of become a little bit of the weak link on that team, and so he's got to step it up for me to feel confident in voting for Liquid for in almost any of these matchups. There are still a few where I think that they're a lot better, but yeah. All right, good. Feel good. All right, we were going to talk about some meta stuff, but nothing's changed, guys. Tune in 2 weeks when we get the small time Buccaneer nerf. And then
and nothing will change after that either.
Well, okay, it's like there are some things that are happening, like aggro rogue is becoming more of a thing. Like Amnesia was streaming it, some other people were streaming it, like pirate. It's not like pirate rogue like Miracle Pirates, it's like actually pirates with like South Sea captains and stuff. Just like a very tempo aggressive rogue. That's about the only thing like interesting.
And even Paladin is getting popular too a little bit.
It's not that good though, and people just see it played in tournaments. Because
I see it in tournaments is what I'm going off of, right?
I mean, it's being played because it has to in like the Trinity series. Like that's about it.
And you play it first, so you can hopefully steal a 50-50 win against Paladin and hopefully never have to play it again.
Yeah, if you want to see what's being played in tournaments, you just look at the Open Cups because that's a better indication of the meta because good players are always playing in them every single day. And there's new results every single day. And by new results, I mean the same results every single day of 3 patches, 1 Kazakus.
Right.
And that is it. And then sometimes now there's like a lineup that's like aggro rogue, tempo mage. Tempo mage has actually been showing up pretty.
Yeah.
It's actually been getting really popular in tournaments lately, tempo mage, which is really interesting because it's most likely just strictly worse than Reno mage. But in that specific lineup of just like aggro decks, tempo mage is like the 4th deck that's okay. Like it's just good enough. And it's been winning a lot, actually.
Well, and Frozen had to say that because they brought Tempo Mage to Trinity Series when everyone else was bringing Reno Mage, and they actually won like 7 or 8 games in a row with it. And when they were talking to Frozen, why did you bring it? And they're like, it does fairly well against the other 4th decks and can steal a lot of games sometimes, and so it's like overall like a really decent choice. In the end though, you know that they said that just because they're sick of playing Reno Mage, because that's what I would be saying. Yeah.
No, I mean he's right though, like it can just steal wins from rogue and stuff, which is like the other fourth deck mainly. So he's not wrong. Like,
right? No,
there's
he's
a reason
totally
why
right.
it's
He did not lie. That's good to know.
It's just really hard to tell whether or not it's actually better than like the Reno, the
Right.
traditional lineup is what I'll call it.
Right. You got that
We'll find out,
surprise
though.
factor too, though, and I don't know how often you see that matchup, so I suppose that it can't be as intuitive to play against. Whereas if you're playing the Tempo Mage, you probably have a little bit better idea about the decks that you're playing against and the tools that they have. So
I mean, that's the advantage of playing a fringe deck or a non-meta deck, is that you generally have the advantage in knowledge. The problem is, though, is that lists for prelims are released ahead of time. So if
Right.
you are a good player that
Still,
is
come on.
known,
yeah,
if you're a good player that's known and you play an off-meta deck, everybody's going to be prepared for it by the time you start playing.
Right.
So it's slightly worse in prelims, in my opinion. So I don't actually think we'll see too much crazy stuff this weekend or in the upcoming weekends, unless somebody has broken the metagame and just is keeping it on the down low. But we'll find out.
Another deck I've been seeing more of. It's not like top tier super popular. Is I've been seeing discard Warlock more often lately.
really.
At least on the ladder. Yeah.
I've gotten wrecked by that a couple times, just out of nowhere. Mulligan.
I had no idea what it was
know,
until I'm
and-
like, oh,
yeah,
this is discard Warlock. I haven't seen this in a while, and
yeah.
I've seen it several times since.
Reno Zoo actually just won a Open Cup the other day. I forget who it was, though. It was somebody I'd never heard of before, but I just saw it being retweeted on Twitter, because that's just like one of the things that I do when I'm bored, is I just like go on Twitter and figure out what is like winning in the open tournaments, because sometimes you find some interesting stuff that inspires you, like Reno Zoo, which is like a deck that Tars made a while ago that he did well with randomly and then never touched again, but some people have been picking it up and actually doing well with it. It's real interesting.
Interesting. And Tana, I know, and we've kind of seen this get played around. So we've seen like Jackie Chan has been playing a lot of Egg Druid again, and a lot of people think that does pretty good, like that Beast Egg Druid is a good like
I got
off
crushed by
meta
that
deck.
deck today.
Yeah, it can
Like on
snowball
stream.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else were you running that was kind of off meta?
I was running Beast Token Druid. So it's like kind of like some of the token cards. You still have all the token generators plus Violet Teacher, and then just a bunch of the Beast cards as well, because it actually makes your curve better. You actually have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops instead of like kind of skipping and stuff here. Also, it's like a really good innervate deck, because you just innervate as soon as possible, because you just want to get board presence as soon as possible. And then anytime a minion sticks for more than one turn, it's like playing the old school rogue decks. It used to be the scariest thing in the world when a rogue deck would like stick any minion for a full turn. And like now the druid deck feels like that, because all of a sudden your 2/2s are like 6/6s on the next turn and stuff. So I think my win rate is a little inflated, A, because of the rank that I'm at, and B, because the deck's just unknown and people, there's no way to mulligan against the deck. Other than that, it's actually been doing really, really well, like on and off stream. I think I'm at like 70% with it over like 20 games.
Nice. There's we talked about a lot of deck lists. If you want to see these deck lists, I'm not going to put them in the show notes because it takes way too long. Just tweet at us. You have all of our Twitter handles in the show notes. Tweet and they'll respond. And yeah, it'll be good. Except for Ray. Ray will not be sending you his prelims decks. Go to Play Hearthstone and they'll be there. Because
I'm gonna tweet you
after
every day.
I win.
I'll tweet you every day, Ray.
By the way, I'm putting in a formal request now that after you win, we want to be the first podcast that you go on. Deal?
All right.
Deal.
I can agree to this.
Great. I'm glad I just put him on the spot there. That's really scummy. You don't actually have to do that, but thank you.
Now I just kind of respect you less for going back on your word. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow, that's very alpha of John. I respect this, and then you just go back and damn.
He'll just meme you again with like some more Reno brother jokes or something.
You should see. So when Ray and I would play together, I would meme BM him that I never see lethal all the time, and he would just freak out. It's hilarious. It's probably some of our favorite moments. No, what are you doing? What are you? I'm going so fast. So like yeah. The sad part is I have to take like 40 seconds to plan out how I'm gonna BM Ray for lethal, because it has to be off meta, you know. All right, we gotta get out of here though. This has been a fun show. Nice and chill this week. Just some news to talk about. We're gonna be back with a strategy segment next week that I'm pretty excited. So stay tuned for that. But
57% chance to show up.
57% chance that'll happen.
I crunched the numbers this time.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get out of here. If you have questions, comments about the show, send us your emails to wellmet@blizzpro.com. And if it's good, we'll read it on the show. If it's not good or too long, or we already talked about it 5 times, I'll just respond there, because that happens a lot. But I'll tell you why. I'd be like, hey, find a shorter way to say this, and then we can make it work. We do want to thank our friends of the show, Albert T, TheRealBen, and Correl. Thank you so much for your support of the show. Tannen, what else do we have going on in Patreon land this week?
Was not ready for that.
Just every week, Tannen.
Clint A. We got Clint A. He's going to have a scheduled match with me, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully he can show up and show me a thing or two about how to play Hearthstone.
Nice. And if you are a new patron or an existing patron that wants to get in on the 1v1 action against Tannen, email at wellmet@blizzpro.com. That's the only way I can stay organized with it all. Please don't Discord or tweet. Just email. Everybody has an email address. My grandma's 94. She has an email address. It's an AOL one. She pays $15 a month for it. She doesn't want to change it, but she even has one. So, yeah. iTunes reviews. JR, what do you have going on iTunes review land this week?
Yeah, we don't have any new iTunes reviews this week, but if you'd like to leave an awesome 5-star review, just head over to iTunes. Hop on iTunes, do a search by podcast, type in Hearthstone. You'll find Well Met fairly easily, I believe, by doing that. And you can leave a review, and then next week I will mispronounce your name in some way or make a bad joke about it. It'll be cool.
It'll be cool. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, shout outs and where people can find you. Ray, thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a blast when you can bless us with your knowledge and wisdom about Hearthstone and life, just life lessons. We'll do a Ray's life lessons skit one of these times when we get you on. We can just.
That'll be fun. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate it. I always have a lot of fun. It's always a good time to meme you, John.
Oh,
yeah, great. I didn't know that it would be so directed at me. We might have to like contract that out, like four John jokes.
Poor John.
I think JR had the best troll of the show, by the way. Just if we were voting on it.
Probably.
Yeah, fair enough. But where can people find you? What are you up to? Any other shout outs? Things like that.
Yeah, just follow me on my Twitter. I tweet a lot of deck lists and a lot of I retweet random people that I find on Twitter that win opens and stuff a lot. So I'm always just updating people on the metagame pretty much.
Nice.
And I guess I stream sometimes if I ever get around to that again.
Do that.
So you can watch me play some high level Hearthstone. Maybe make fun of John some more. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That look.
I'm sorry, buddy. You know I love you. All right. I'm good for now.
Tannen, shout outs for the week. Where can people find you?
They can find me at @TheTannenGrace on Twitter, and I'd like to give a shout out to Fresca. He's in the chat right now. Guy said he got up out of his bed today and is progressing quite well in his recovery. We're all hoping for the best for you, Fresca.
Awesome. Good to see you, Fresca. Thanks for stopping by, man. Give that that Freshka love over that way. Twitter.com/AGG_Freshka, I believe. So go follow him on Twitter too. JR, what about you? Where can people find you? Shout outs, all the good stuff.
You can find me over on Twitter at Eldorian. I'd like to give a shout out to Ray for the one and only show that I will be on with him, if John's in charge. So it was good to do the one show with you. And I'd like to also give a shout out to the number. I'd like to also give a shout out to the number 57.
Solid
I
number.
like it.
Oh, like,
like
the
it.
number, like Sesame Street. Number of the day is 57.
Yeah, like the count guy.
Got it.
One.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we got to get out of here. As for me, find me on Twitter at KickTripod, Twitch at KickTripod, or just go to kicktripod.com. I got everything up there ready to go, and links to everything else, like my Discord and all that. We've been having an awesome time in the BlizzPro Discord, by the way. So if you want a pretty cool community to chat about, specifically with this show, Hearthstone, we're doing it quite a bit, sharing deck lists, talking about strategy, making fun of JR, all that stuff you can find at discord.gg/BlizzPro. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Well Met. Join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/BlizzPro to get on the conversation. And follow the show on Twitter at Well Met Podcast for additional news and updates. Well Met is supported by our fans. If you love the show, you can find out how to become a part of the family at patreon.com/WellMetPodcast. You can also find Well Met apparel at store.blizzpro.com. Doing pretty good, guys. I'm getting this all in one breath per paragraph. Special thanks to Jake Butineau for our music and Site Designs for our graphic design. This has been episode number 96 of Well Met. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Oh God.